Actually, my second tape was Flashdance, the soundtrack,
Oh,
and it was
I'm
because
sorry.
I'd seen the movie. Which now, when I watched it later, like as a grown up with hormones, I was like, "Whoa, this is like has sex in it." But when I was a kid, I remember like, I love that movie about dancing. That's a good movie. Wow. And I used to listen to the soundtrack and clean my room because I was definitely homosexual when I was a kid. I don't know what happened. But then I liked girls. It was weird. But like
It's a little bit of an overshare, Robert.
as like a 6-year-old, I just really like to like listen. I just really like to listen to the Flashdance soundtrack and clean my room. There's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. All right.
Not the only one.
Okay.
All right, guys. We just got to get these filthy secrets out. Keep them coming, Ryan. What's the shittiest album in your collection?
What?
What's the shittiest album in your collection? What's the worst piece of music you own and listen to?
And love.
Or as a child, some ish that you don't want anyone to know about. Ryan, we dare you. We double dog dare you.
Come on, what is it?
I got to think about that.
All right, then you can.
I've got so many bad ones in my collection, I wouldn't even know where to start. Actually, most of them are gone now, but in my collection in the past, I've had Chicago records. So that's some pretty bad shit.
Like newer Chicago, like the other singer?
Oh, God, no, not before Peter Cetera. Before Peter Cetera took over.
Oh, I see.
And neutered the hard rock that was Chicago.
Because it was really packing a lot down there.
Oh, yeah. That was some
Those
hardcore
horns.
shit. Saturday, bow, in the park, bow. That was some hard rocking shit.
Yeah,
You know, when you're 10, that sounds cool. I did wish it was the 4th of July. Those guys are right. Let's see. My mom gave me a John Denver record once. And this is before your guys' day, but back in the day when they had this stuff called vinyl, RCA Records at one point was experimenting with this kind of like bendable vinyl, you know, so you could, like, that was the big selling point. Like, hey, now your discs aren't gonna break. And this John Denver record that my mom gave me was so fucking bad. I mean, because it
They have the
wasn't
Muppets on it?
Because it wasn't just Don Denver; it was like late John Denver.
Yeah.
So it's like post his hits. So I took the thing to see how far I could bend it, and it broke into like 50 pieces. And I felt bad because my mom gave it to me, so I just shoved all the pieces into the thing. And then she came in one day and asked if she could borrow it. It's like, oh no, Mom, don't pick up the no.
Here's feeling bad over stuff that Mom got you. One time, we were having this epic G.I. Joe battle in my friend's yard. This was like a 3rd grade or something, and we'd go into his dog house. They had this big-ass dog, and we'd go in there and like trade toys. But one time, we had this big thing going where we came up with a story for everything, and it ended, I convinced him that Baroness, who's like this evil wench from Cobra, who's like the terrorist organization, she had to be like punished for I don't know, she was doing something. And so, like, capital punishment. So I was like, dude, there's a hatchet over by the woodshed. We got to do this shit. So, like, at first we pulled her hair off. It was like rubber. And then, like, I convinced him, like, hatchet the head, and then we put red marker on it. And then after we were done, we saw, dude, that was incredible, man. Like, and I also convinced him to take his Cobra Rattler, which is like an A10 Warthog, but all done up in blue, and we tied it to a string. We were spinning around like a whirligig and letting it go. And then it would like crash into the ground. But then afterward, Jeff, you're waiting for there's no payoff on this.
I am waiting.
The payoff is that afterward he started to cry. Like he was like really crying because he's like, my mom bought me that. And he was like trying to put it back together. And it was so pathetic looking. And like it was all red on the stubs. And he was just like trying to hold it together and pretend it would fix itself.
Oh, that's sad. You're mean. You're mean, man.
I told you.
Terrible.
He's mean.
Mean little kid.
Sean Boy, what's the worst record in your collection?
Currently, the one that sticks out every time I'm like going through the
Yeah.
collection is like a Richard Marx CD.
Oh, man.
Ooh.
I don't know.
That's some bad shit.
I don't know why it's there. I'm pretty sure I bought it.
No.
I don't remember
No.
why.
Wow.
Yeah,
But you
it's bad.
can't remember the song that
I
just
think it was
really...
Hazard. I remember
Okay.
Hazard.
I don't
Of course
know.
not. It's
No.
Richard Marx.
I don't listen to
Right.
Richard Marx, man. I don't know.
But yeah, that's the one that every time
I
I'm
don't
going
even.
through
What
it,
is
it's like,
Richard
what
Marx?
the hell?
It sounds
It's
like puts me to sleep.
It's like
but-
it's exactly that. Like
80s
really soft
singer.
VH1. Like
Yeah.
couldn't hurt a fly.
Did any of you ever own a Kenny G?
No.
My mom gave me a Kenny G CD when I was in like 7th grade.
Why?
I don't know.
Because she thought you liked jazz.
What about?
I think that she just thought that I would like it, and I listened to it. I didn't really get it.
That guy
But it
needs
was
to
weird
take a
because at
porn
the time
taken
I was
away
really-
from him and beat on the head with it.
At the time, I was really in my like Nirvana phase. So it was kind of like, thanks. And then I'd put it on and be like, what is this? I don't
Yeah, Kenny G
understand.
was
Where's
going to
the
be on the
grunge?
third Nirvana album if they hadn't broken up, or because Kurt Cobain killed himself.
That's
Did
why
you
he
know that?
killed
They
himself.
were going to use
actually.
a sax instead of vocals.
That would have actually been the most amazing album. I mean, I wish that something like that existed.
Dude, Ryan has got his iPod here with him, but he won't hand it over.
Hell no.
Because it's
Oh,
like
let's
Japanese.
give it to
sound-
me. Give it to me.
It's
We're
all-
gonna
it's all
read every
Dragon
bit
Ball
of
music.
This
No.
Final Fantasy
I actually, you know
soundtrack.
what?
Yeah.
I'm very weird when it comes to music.
Uh-oh.
Like
Does that better not mean Final Fantasy soundtrack?
it does.
But we knew this about Ryan.
We did?
Sure, we did.
Come on,
You
dude.
you
Look
all
at
do
him.
that, yeah.
Really?
I have. Well, I have.
Sean's been in denial all this time.
What
I
do you
have.
think he listened to?
I won't tell him.
What do you got? What do you got?
Does he look like a Jay-Z fan?
I mean,
Look
like
at
the
him.
dumbest
Yeah,
thing,
totally.
other than a bunch of stupid video game music that's on my
Yeah.
MP3 player, is like some Eminem songs. He's pretty stupid.
What about?
I don't know.
I used to sit there with a tape recorder in front of my Sega Genesis recording things.
I did that too.
Are
Just
you
so you
fucking
know.
shitting
The
me?
Genesis music was terrible too.
Not shitting you.
Genesis has a terrible sound chip.
Did you
It's all
I
like-
know,
listen
it's
to that
terrible.
tape? You
I
like-
would occasionally listen to that tape.
Where do you think you work, Sean
You
Elliott?
got a cassette tape? A Genesis?
You're in a
I
room
cur-
full of nerds.
I still don't have it. But at the time, I was like, man, this Ghouls and Ghosts theme is so good.
Yeah.
All I remember in my youth is turn that shit down.
I used to do that with Sierra games.
Yeah.
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 Mhm.
Yeah, I like game music. I mean, some of it's really, really catchy. I think it was better actually when things were like so minimal that people had to worry about coming up with something you could listen to repetitiously.
Right.
And now people just do this kind of boring like film soundtrack stuff. You know, I liked it better when it was all.
For 3 hours.
Imagine that coming through your 13-inch bedroom television,
Yeah.
recorded onto like this like 1950s tape recorder your grandmother
Wow.
gave you.
But don't you wish you had that tape now?
Oh my God, I wish. There's a lot I wish. I
That could
had.
be
I
our
got-
theme music right
Let's
now.
try to think of the worst I had. Somehow I ended up with the Technotronic tape at one point. I don't remember
Pretty
who
bad.
gave me that. That's that pump up the jam,
jam,
pump it up while your fupa's pumping.
Was
did it
were
again.
were they in
This turned-
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
This has
2?
turned into that shit where
That was Vanilla Ice.
you know when you do like
damn
a
it.
circle with your hand and you put it below your knee and you try to get your friends to like check it out and then you get to punch them in the arm a few times. It's like if you guys let me get away with saying that, I get to keep hitting you. Yo, dude, I just skinned my knee. Look, remember that? There was a version of that in that movie called Waiting. You ever see that? Don't bother if you haven't. I don't even know how it ended up in our Netflix queue. But
I don't know which one you're talking about, but
so,
did not see it.
but the guys that work in the kitchen basically have this game where they have it's like ball games, and if they make these different shapes and stuff with their ball sack, and if they get you to look at it when you come in, then they get to like punch you or you have to ride them around. So one of them, no, like there's different. You know, there's like the
What are the possible shapes
Like
that you can
turtles?
make with
I
your
was just
ball
thinking that.
sack?
There's
Isn't
like
there
a-
just kind of one?
there's
I
like
don't
a
know.
turtle. There's like the bat wing. Then they have one where like it looks like a piece of chicken. Like on the they put it on the.
They show
on
it
the
in the
town.
movie.
Spend
showed
some
on the
time to
movie.
figure these things out.
It's like on the
Couldn't they be reading
like
books?
there's an epic one, and you have to put it on the meat counter.
Ryan is making the let's end this sign.
It's not over.
I agree with him.
What has happened to this podcast?